Hi everyone, Abby here, and welcome back to my channel for Tech Tuesday, or welcome if you're new. Now today I'm going to be comparing the Garmin Vivoactive 6 versus the Garmin Forerunner 165. I'm going to be going over the major spec similarities and differences between both of these smartwatches to help you decide which one's best for you if you're considering these smartwatches. And I'm going to let you guys know which one I prefer. But before I get started, make sure to hit that subscribe button if you're not already subscribed so you can stay tuned to all my new videos dropping weekly and so you can help the channel grow. So as I mentioned, I'm going over the major similarities and differences today, but if you guys are looking for more of a deep dive review, I've done individual reviews on both of these smartwatches, which you can find coming up at the top right, also linked in the description below for you to check out when you're done watching this. So let's start off with the spec similarities. So both of these smartwatches have a 1.2-inch AMOLED color display. They both have suggested daily workouts, and they can track a variety of workouts like walking, running, yoga, swimming. They can track a variety of running metrics, like you can get your stride length. They have Pace Pro on there, Race Predictor. They're also both water resistant up to 5 ATM or 50 meters. So as I mentioned, you can swim in them. You can also wear it in the rain, in the snow, and more with no issues. On both these smartwatches, you can view your smartphone notifications, you can reply to text messages, you can track your sleep, your steps, your calories burned, your active minutes, HRV status. Both these smartwatches also have a quoted battery life up to 11 days on a single charge. And I've gone ahead and listed a bunch more on screen for you. So now, covering the differences, the first difference would be the price. So the Garmin Vivoactive 6 currently goes for $439.99 Canadian and $299.99 American, while the Garmin Forerunner 165 music version goes for $419.99 Canadian and $299.99 American. The Forerunner 165 does come in a standard version as well. And if you're finding this video helpful so far, please go ahead and smash that like button for me. I'd really appreciate it. The Vivoactive 6 just comes in one version, and that version has music ability built in. The Forerunner, like I mentioned, there's two different versions here. So if you don't care about music functionality, you could save a bit of money. And if you do get the music version, you can download music on here from a variety of providers like YouTube Music, Amazon Music, Deezer, Spotify. Listen to it phone free using Bluetooth headphones on the go. Another difference between the pricing here is that the Forerunner 165 has been out for a bit longer, and I've seen it go on sale a lot more often. So another difference between both of these smartwatches is the activity tracking. Now, both of these smartwatches do track slightly different activities. I'm going to put on screen the main differences between the activities that they do track. And if you want to see all of the activities that they track, check out my individual reviews on these smartwatches where I show you every single activity that they both do track. While both of them do have suggested daily workouts, the Vivoactive 6 gives you suggested daily walks, while the Forerunner 165 gives you suggested daily runs. So that could be a huge difference for you depending on, which type of activity is your main focus. Now, both of them will give you tailored, suggested activities depending on your own current physical activity, and they will, suggest when you should be having rest days and stuff like that. So I personally find it pretty helpful. Now, when it comes to things like tracking your steps, when it comes to tracking calories burned, when it comes to tracking your heart rate, I find that they both do a very good job, and I really don't see much of a difference there. So another difference between both these smartwatches would be the design. Now, looking at these smartwatches here, they definitely do look different. I do find that the Forerunner 165 looks a lot more sporty than the Vivoactive does. The Vivoactive looks a bit more sleek. Both of them are honestly pretty big smartwatches. They're not super compact by any means, so if you have a small wrist, you might want to avoid them. But if you're looking for a smartwatch that has, a bigger size display and you like the size of these, then I don't think you're gonna have an issue there. If you are someone who has a very small wrist, you might wanna look at getting something like a Venue 2S or a Garmin Lily 2 Active, something like that, something more compact. Now, if you're looking at the design here, the Forerunner, obviously, as you can see, has buttons throughout. 5 buttons that can be used for operation, and you can see holes all throughout the band here, so that's something that really is kind of like a Forerunner type of look. Another thing you'll notice is that the Forerunner does have kind of like a two-tone design when it comes to the band there, where the Vivoactive is just one solid color on the band. But the Vivoactive, as you guys can see, they have 2 buttons, have different color buttons. as well. So that's something else I wanted to show here. So another difference between these smartwatches is that they do fit different wrist sizes, and the Forerunner 165 does fit slightly larger wrist sizes. I've gone ahead and put all that information on screen for you if you want to see if either of them will fit your wrist. And my wrist is 7 inches if you are wondering. All right guys, so another difference between both these smartwatches would be the operation and the UI. So UI, or user interface, is different between these. The Vivoactive 6 has Garmin's brand new UI, which is the most updated to date. It has a lot of gradients, it has a lot of kind of 3D effects, and it looks really cute. It's definitely something a bit more refreshed than what you're going to find on the Forerunner. Now, on the Forerunner here, as I mentioned, this is button operated and it's also touchscreen. So that can be super handy, especially if you're working out in the elements. If it's raining, if you're working out in the snow and you have gloves on, it could be super beneficial just to operate your smartwatch with the buttons versus just having touchscreen like you're gonna see on the Vivoactive. Forerunner 165 has Garmin's more traditional operating system where you're gonna kind of swipe up or down and you can see all of your metrics there, and it has a couple shortcuts if you want to open up, let's say, alarms, if you want to open up music. I'm a big fan of button operated smartwatches. You can see with the UI there, it's a lot more kind of like contrasting, a lot more black with white text, where the Vivoactive 6, as I mentioned, there's a lot of gradients going on, kind of lighter backgrounds and colors. In my experience, they both are really quick when you're swiping through, so I don't really see a difference in speed there, but there's definitely a difference in the look of the UI and the operation. But I think both of them are pretty easy to use. So another thing about operation is that both of them have had some operational issues. Now, when it comes to the Forerunner 165, I did have my unit randomly freeze on me, and it'd be something that would happen on a kind of consistent basis, kind of every few days or at least once a week. I did reach out to Garmin. I was able to get a new one, and with the new one, still happening, although less frequent. So with the Forerunner 165, you might run into the issue of it freezing on you. Now with the Vivoactive 6, I didn't experience freezing with that, but even when it was fully charged, it would just randomly turn off and shut down on me, and I look at the watch and I'm like, oh, it's off. So that was really crappy as well. I did make sure that, the smartwatches are fully updated and everything. So you might run into operational issues if you get one of these smartwatches. That's something I did want to mention. Both of them do have, a gyroscope built in. They can track your steps, all of that stuff, but there are some differences. The Forerunner 165 does have a barometric altimeter built in. So with that, you're going to be tracking your elevation data, your altitude, stuff like that. So if you're someone who you like to track the amount of stairs, the flights of stairs that you go up and down, very helpful. That's on the Forerunner. If you're someone who you want to track your elevation data when you're outside going for a walk or a hike or a bike ride, you can do that on the Forerunner. We can't do that on the Vivoactive. So I find it a bit of an oversight that the Vivoactive 6, they added a bunch of running and walking features, but they left that out. They both have the exact same heart rate sensor, and the heart rate sensor on both of them is slightly elevated from the bottom. All right guys, so when it comes to which smartwatch I prefer, I go with the Garmin Forerunner 165. I like that it does have button operation. I like having the option of using button or touchscreen. I like that it has the older UI. I do find it easier to read and easier and faster to navigate myself. And I do like that it does have a barometric altimeter built in there, so I can get my floors climbed and so I can get my altitude data if I'm doing an outdoor activity. That being said, I think both of them are great options if you're looking for a more affordable running watch from Garmin. Let me know what you guys think. Which one would you prefer? Which one do you think is the better option out of these two? And honestly, I think if you pick one or the other, I don't think you'd really regret it. They both give very similar performance, and they can both do a great job at activity tracking. And if you guys are looking to pick up either the Forerunner 165 or the Vivoactive 6, I've gone ahead and left some links down in the description for you to use. And all right, guys, that's all I have for today. Thanks for watching, and make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye.